Hi Ready Kids families, my name is Margot. I'm a Ready Steps educator. Today we're going to be talking about school readiness, and we're talking about that in part because there are a lot of kids who are going to be going back to school after a long time, or back to school after the summer, or going to school for the first time come the fall. But being ready for school and preparing your child for school is something that you can be doing from the time they're an infant, they're a baby, and it's probably something that you've already been doing and working on, especially if you've been coming to playgroup or virtual playgroup. So school readiness is less about making sure your child knows certain things, like knows the ABCs, knows how to count to 10. It's not about that as much as it's about your child being ready to learn in this new environment that is school. So important things for your child to be ready to learn are things like working on their independence, working on self-regulation and socialization with other kids, being able to kind of communicate those needs and wants to other people. And then there's always, of course, their fine motor skills and their gross motor skills, the ways that they move their body, including their hands. And then maybe the most important piece is you as the parent or caregiver being able to support them and be there for when they come home or when they have to leave for school, and kind of you as a resource for them. So like I was saying, one of the skills that you can start practicing early on is helping them build their independence. And so when they're at school, they're going to need to be a little bit more independent than they might be at home. They're going to be with new adults, whereas you might be able to read your child's cues a little bit better and know, okay, I need to get them a snack right now. The teacher might not have the same knowledge of your child to be able to read their cues and know exactly how they're feeling and thinking. And so helping your child feel more independent and able to communicate their needs with other people is going to be really important. And so you can help them gain independence by letting them do things by themselves, letting them feed themselves or drink out of a cup, or start putting on their clothes by themselves or putting on their shoes by themselves, are all ways that they can start practicing feeling more independent. Other ways are just when they're playing, if they keep coming up against a problem, this tower keeps falling down, instead of hopping in and showing them, if you build it bigger at the bottom, it will be more stable. Let them figure it out. Let them keep stacking it and keep failing, because that's part of learning. And then eventually, once they figure it out, that's going to feel awesome to them because they did it themselves. And that means that they can do things by themselves and they don't necessarily need you, which is going to be really important for when they go to school and they start having to do things by themselves. So you can encourage their independence, but also kind of give them some of the language to be able to communicate those needs. And help them realize how they're feeling and what they might need. So saying things like, are you feeling hungry? Or it looks like you might be feeling sad. Do you want a hug? So recognizing their emotions as well as their needs and kind of giving them some of that language so that they can then tell that to somebody else later on at school, and be able to say, I'm hungry, or I'm angry, or I'm sad. And that can help their teacher and help their not coworkers, the other kids in their class, know what's going on and know what they might need to feel better. And so that kind of emotional regulation, helping them identify their emotions, is really important. But another skill that's really important is helping them calm down. And so at some point when they are calm, because when they are really upset, they're not in a place to learn things like this. But at a moment when they're calm, you can work on those deep breathing techniques we've talked about of smell the flower, blow out the candle, or counting to 3 to help calm down and things like that. So that when they are feeling overwhelmed or feeling these huge emotions, they have those tactics to lean back on. And in the same way that you can help them learn independence, you can help them kind of work on their socialization skills. Playing with other kids their age is definitely going to be the best way to practice that. They're going to be in a room with a lot of other kids. That might be a new experience, especially after this weird year where we haven't been seeing people in person as much. And so if you feel comfortable meeting up with a friend who has kids about their age, or going to the park to let them play with other kids. You can do that. If you don't feel comfortable doing that and you don't have siblings or other close friends around, you can model it yourself. So as the parent or the caregiver, you can practice taking turns with your child, or model saying please and thank you, or when you're talking to your co-parent or another family member, you can ask before you grab something from them, or tell them what you need, as a way to kind of show your kids what it will be like to socialize with other people their age. You can also play pretend. Pretend like you are at school. Pretend like you are solving a problem together, to kind of, once again, model those interactions that they might be having at school. Another important part of getting ready for school, of course, is the things that we've been working on all year long. And if you've been coming to playgroup before, you know that we've been working on things like their fine motor skills or their gross motor skills. So that's the muscles in their hands that will help them write or draw. So things like scribbling on paper, or using scissors, or squeezing a glue bottle are all really important skills. So you can use like lacing cards or clothespins to keep practicing those skills, so that your child is ready once they go to school to start learning to write, to start picking up small things, and really be ready for that environment. And then gross motor skills, those are the really big muscles in your body. So things like running or jumping or hopping on one foot, throwing a ball, throwing a scarf, can help your child develop those muscles that they will need, as well as kind of learn where their body is in space, so they can better control their body when they're in a place with a lot of other people. And then maybe one of the most important things is you, as the parent or caregiver, being a resource for your child. And so that can be adjusting your routine at home so that it matches the school routine, so it's a little bit less of a shock once they're going to school. Try to have lunch around the same time every day. Maybe start establishing an afternoon routine, so that once they are at school and coming home, they know what to expect. They know, we're going to get home, I'm going to have a snack, I'm going to take a nap if I need one, and then we'll go outside for a little while and then have dinner. Have a routine so that they have a better idea of what to expect when they get home. And give yourself space to kind of feel any feelings that you might have about your child going to school. It could be a big change for you. And it could bring up a lot of big emotions if once you're putting your child on the bus for the first day and then your house is so quiet, or if you're dropping them off at school. You might be having a lot of big emotions. You might be feeling really sad. You might be feeling really relieved, but kind of hold space for yourself to feel those feelings, and kind of prepare yourself for that, so that you can still be excited for them, because this is a big change for them, but it's an exciting change. And so you have to be excited for them and view this as a really positive thing, because it is. They're going to a new place. They're going to meet so many new friends that they get to play with all the time. They're going to meet a new teacher who's going to help them learn and play. And so you want to be excited. You don't want to project any insecurities that you might have onto that experience for them. You want to hold space for your own feelings, where they're not going to affect your child's view of what school is. And then as it gets closer to school, as it gets closer to when school starts, maybe a month out, you can start talking about school a little bit, once again, in a positive way, reading books about school so they have an idea of what they might need to expect. If it's an option, and I don't know if it is because of COVID guidelines right now, but if you're able to go in and meet teachers, that's a great way for them to get an idea of who is going to be in the classroom and make it a little bit less scary. Or if the teachers send home a picture, that would be a helpful thing to revisit and say, oh, look, this is going to be your teacher. This is who's going to be in your classroom. If you're able to go into the school or go onto the playground, see the classroom, see the bathrooms, or even just see the playground. So it's one more thing that's familiar to them when they go to school. That would be really helpful. Once again, I don't know how possible that is with the COVID guidelines. But those are just a few things that you can do to help your child prepare for school. And either if they're going to school in the fall or if they're going into school in a few years, these are all things to be keeping in mind and keep working on and modeling for your child. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful summer. Bye.